my pet peeve is these local reporters who are activists, and they'll write about these issues and just matter-of-factly use activist language to talk about these things. So whenever I see it now on Twitter, I like to tag the writer, and usually they're someone that has a very small account. They're just like a local reporter. But I like to tag them and say, why did you use this language? Did your editor tell you to do this, or did you do this on your own? Because you're deceiving your readers and tricking them into thinking something that isn't true. And for example, we've been talking about gender affirming care a lot. Yeah. When these writers use that phrase, either they decided, oh, I'm not going to say that these are irreversible sex change procedures. Either the writer decided, I'm going to tell people how to think about this, or their editor said, use this phrase because so-and-so said to, or because this activist media guide says to. And either way, they should have to answer for why they're doing that, because that's not the truth. That is literally not the truth.
Why we're not calling pregnant women anymore. They're pregnant people.
Right. Pregnant people. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it just, honestly, it's Orwellian. But
we've gotten to the point now where those mainstream, I hate saying mainstream media, but there's not really very many good words for this. Mainstream corporate, fake news media, they are so agenda driven that there has to be other outlets that are on the conservative or right-leaning side of things that are filling in the gaps that these agenda-driven outlets leave.
Right.
And at the end of the day, the point of journalism should be to shine light on the truth. But what conservative media finds ourselves doing a lot of the time is filling the gaps that the mainstream media leaves open. And when I say that, I mean the mainstream media make no bones about the fact that they think abortion is a right. They say abortion rights in their stories.
100%.
They call irreversible sex change surgeries for kids care. They also call abortion care. Yeah,
right.
Gender-affirming care.
Right.
All of this, they use the activist terms of progressive organizations like the ACLU and GLAAD and the Human Rights Campaign. A lot of these news outlets are owned by corporations that follow the very specific lefty standards of the Human Rights Campaign. And so when they're all being controlled and fed the glossaries and vocabulary of these leftist organizations, they are not unbiased.
What is one story or issue that you don't see the mainstream press covering that really should be covered?
Well, I probably would say detransitioners. The mainstream media will not talk about them.
Yeah.
And that is a very, very sad thing, because these are people who have suffered a lot and tried to change their gender, obviously couldn't because that is not possible, and now they're left to pick up the pieces. And as I was sharing with you a little earlier, there's no doctors to help these people through this. And mainstream media, if they ever talk about these people, they always say something like, only a small portion of people regret their transitions. Well, that's because these transgender doctors won't help them. And so half of the detransitioners never even go back to report that they regret what they did, because they're afraid and they know that they're going to be told, oh, maybe you didn't try hard enough, things like that.